Hi, everybody. No, you're fine. Hello and welcome to week 9 of English 1B. This is the official halfway point of our 18-week semester here at Chafee. Although, as a little bonus, online courses and hybrid courses don't meet during exam weeks, during the final exam week. So, really, our semester together is only 17 weeks long. Huzzah for online learning, right? Okay, so first of all, remember to submit your second essay and letter to the reader. If you haven't already, you can still submit it this week, remember. Please do turn that in. Don't lose too many late marks. So yeah, get those in. This week we're shifting gears to start engaging with the longest text we will read this semester, and that's of course Cormac McCarthy's 2007 novel The Road. So this novel is a Pulitzer Prize winning post-apocalyptic novel. It uses this genre, the post-apocalyptic genre, in a far more complex way than the essays we have read about apocalyptic rhetoric, right? Um, those are very, much shorter essays that have a specific rhetorical purpose in mind. They're trying to convince you of something. You should be able to detect the kind of appeals that they're using. If you can't really detect and notice those as you're reading through, they're probably not very effective. Anyway, so they're very much more shorter, more focused pieces. Whereas the novel is longer. There's a lot of different things going on, and this is going to give us a chance to see how the apocalypse can be used in very different ways, right? In multiple ways. And I hope we have some interesting conversations about just what McCarthy is trying to say about the human conditions in this novel. Because, here's the thing, um, and this is something to keep in mind as you're reading, especially if you are, you're not into fiction or you're not into post-apocalyptic novels, that genre of novels. Even though this is a book that is a fictional book about a fictional man, a fictional boy living in a fictional future, right? This novel that we're going to look at is, and I would argue also every book is ultimately about the same thing. It's about us, right? It's about human beings as they exist now, right? Cormac McCarthy, the author of this book, doesn't really care about this fictional world, these fictional people. He's talking about, the world that we live in, the world that he lives in. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind as you're reading. Um, that is set in this fictional world. It is a future, this post-apocalyptic setting, but it's really about the human condition as we know it. Okay, and as you start reading, do pay attention to the language of the novel. It can be challenging at times, especially when you first start reading it. He doesn't use quotation marks around dialogue. Sometimes you don't know whether the book's being written from this kind of outsider perspective or whether we're in the man's mind. But don't be discouraged because these are deliberate choices he's making to try to create effect. So you should be thinking about that as you read. And we're going to try to unpack this together, right? We'll have we're going to be um, talking and reading about this text for about the next month. So we'll have plenty of time to unpack it. So if at first it seems challenging, et cetera, just give it some time and allow yourself some time to do some reading with the text. And as you're doing the reading, you should be asking yourself why he's writing this book as he is, right? Even though it's a novel, it's a fictional work, we can still consider the stylistic choice from a rhetorical perspective. You should be asking yourself, what effect is he trying to have on the reader? Because there's going to be there's passages that are very poetic, and he's using archaic diction, and you have to unpack some of what he's saying, and it gets kind of dense. And then there are other passages that are very mundane, and he's just describing, the way that the man gets oil from an abandoned gas pump at a gas station, right? And it's very like matter of fact and very straightforward. So you have multiple kinds of description and writing style going on in the novel, and you should be asking yourself why he's using these different things. And like I said before, we're going to unpack this together. So don't beat yourself up if you find it challenging. Also this week, we'll be listening to a podcast about the role that the desert plays in our collective imagination. This is gonna help inform our reading of the novel of The Road, because as you're gonna see, The Road takes place in a desert, right? The burned out shell of the former Earth, this wasteland, post-apocalyptic nightmare hellscape, right? It's very desert-like. Um, However, what this setting means is up to interpretation, right? Your interpretation. In fact, one of the topics for essay number 3 is about setting and geography and this central metaphor of the road. So if that's something that interests you, you could choose to write about that. Okay, to help us think about these texts, the road, and this podcast that I have picked out for us to listen to. There are 2 discussion forums this week, so please do try to post early. There'll be multiple discussions, and do remember to engage with at least 2 peers for each discussion forum for full marks. Okay, so let me just review what we're doing this week. So you're going to read pages 1 to 59 of The Road, and I posted a PDF version of this first chunk of the book. The PDF version it's only 18 pages long, but that's just the different format. That's actually the first 59 pages of the published book. So even though it's only 18 pages, it's a lot denser than you would read in the book, right? The book is smaller pages and the text is more spread out. The PDF I posted is like kind of like a Word document, and it's very dense, and it takes a lot longer to read a single page. Now, for legal reasons, I can't post more of the PDF of the book. I can only post like a small chunk of any given text for class consumption. If I could, I would post the whole book, but I can't. So you need to get yourself a copy of the book. Remember, you can get a copy from the bookstore, the Chaffee bookstore, for I think $12. I think that's what one student told me. Or you can order it on Amazon. You can probably get a used copy for like $5 if you order it. Or you can get one from your local library. It doesn't matter to me where you get it, but you do need to get one. We're going to continue our conversation of The Road after the March break, so please do make sure you get a copy. And I'm just assuming that a lot of people still don't have a copy, so that's why I posted the first 59 pages. Anyways, read that. Of course, turn your second essay and letter to the reader if you haven't already. The third thing, listen to that podcast that I posted about deserts. It's about an hour long, the podcast, but you can download it to your phone. You can listen to it while you're cleaning or driving or at work, whatever. It's a fun listen. If you've never listened to podcasts before, then you're in for a treat. It's a very well produced product. I listen to this particular podcast series a lot, called Ideas. They always have some interesting stuff on there. So you don't need to listen to it. You don't need to just like sit down at your computer and listen to this through Canvas. You can find it on your own and listen to it through your device. That's totally fine. Do email me if you need a transcript of the podcast. If you have hearing issues or something, please do email me. I'll send you a transcript. I'm trying to find a really good one. Unfortunately, I can only find an incomplete one right now. That's why I'm asking you to email me. I'll try to find a better one. Anyways, if you need a transcript, please email me. And then the fourth thing you need to do this week is post to the week's 2 discussion forums. Remember, there are 2 separate discussion forums. Okay, those are the 4 things you need to do this week. Remember, next week, March 16th to 22nd, is March break. The entire campus is shut down. There's no Success Center. It's shut down for the week. We won't have class. I will be answering emails sporadically. There's no guarantee I'll get to them right away, but I will be answering them. So this is a good time to get ahead on reading The Road, especially if you're finding it challenging and you need to spend more time with it. Consider spending some time during the March break reading The Road. And as always, please do feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you, and good luck.